What's up, guys? I'm still here in Billings, Montana. I'm on day 3 of a fast, so I have a little bit of brain fog, and I'm trying to get through this. Yesterday was so tough because I do Uber deliveries, and I had to do this pickup at Papa John's Pizza. Oh my God! But I think it's going to be easier today. The hunger pains aren't as bad today. And I know I look pretty, I don't know, I look normal, like I have a normal body type on camera, but if I take my shirt off, it's pretty bad, guys. It's like a mixture of Sasquatch, dad bod, some forest animals. It's pretty bad. So I just want to, and since I came back to the United States, right, I've been living overseas for 26 years. Since like when I came back from Uganda, I weighed about 180 pounds, and when I was donating plasma, I was around 196 pounds. So it's like I gained almost 20 pounds, which is like 9 kilos. So I'm just trying to do like a health reset. All right, and as promised, I said I would respond to the most liked comment in my last video. So here it is. I'll post it up here. Yeah, I just want to say thank you to any of you who have been watching my channel. I started my other channel, my main channel. I started that in 2011 when I lived in Japan. And why did I start YouTubing at all? I'll tell you why. I guess it was around 2010 when I started watching YouTube, and I kept seeing this guy making videos about Japan. At the time I lived in Kobe, Japan. And there was this one dude, and I kept seeing his videos about Japan, and he was so freaking obnoxious. And although some of the things he said about Japan were accurate, a lot of things I didn't agree with. And that was, I think his name is Victor, or Give Me a Flake Man at the time. I don't know what he's up to these days, but I was like thinking, like, why is this guy so insistent on making YouTube videos? And I looked into it, and I had this like aha moment. I was like, oh, okay, he's getting paid to do this. He's making money from AdSense. And I was like, well, I mean, I wouldn't mind having a little extra money coming in every month. And I really don't agree with a lot of things he's saying about Japan. Like, this guy's full of shit. Like, he's making Japan look like it's paradise, and he's also like, he's gatekeeping. At the time I said I'm not going to mention him in my videos, but I'm going to talk about my perspective. And that's how I started. And I just started making these really small clips. I would like go to the pier in Kobe and just make a video showing guys fishing off the pier, which I thought was a really pure moment. And actually, I didn't talk in a lot of those videos. I would just shoot the video. I would walk in downtown Kobe and just show the ambiance there. I still have all of those videos. I still have them all. They're all backlogged. They're in my archives. All right, guys, I just organized all my content so it's easily accessible. I mean, look at all this content I got. Dating Life Vlog Uganda, Ryan Boundless Patrons Only videos, Wife Hunt. Okay, if you're not interested in Africa content, we've got podcasts, Patrons Only Japan videos, Japan Dream Crusher videos, hundreds and hundreds of videos. Like, just really interesting content here. But I think my channel offered a little bit of a unique perspective because I didn't always praise Japan and only talk about the good things. And I also like went out and vlogged my daily life, which I don't know. I don't know if a lot of those YouTubers, other YouTubers did that. I would say looking back on those videos, you know, that time of my life was magical. Yeah, it was magical. It was special. But where I'm at now in Montana, in the United States, looking back on my life there in Japan, and I mean, you know, 2015 was a good time in my life in Japan, but there was like other really good times in my life when I wasn't a vlogger that were better than that. You know, I came to Japan when I was like 24, and once I had kind of like gotten there and kind of learned how things worked and I could speak a little Japanese, so like in my later 20s, yeah, just I was loving it. At that time I was living in Osaka, downtown Osaka. You know, I was teaching it at an eikaiwa like 3 hours a night, but I was like living off of that somehow. Crazy. Yeah, I was living off of working 3 hours a day. After work, I'd finish my last lesson. I'd ride my bike home. Every single pretty girl I saw, I'd go up and talk to her, get her number. I had no fewer than 3 girls over at my place every week, new girls. At that time, I really was motivated to be in Japan. I was still learning Japanese, and yeah, that actually was paradise. At that time, it felt like paradise. Now, could I go back there and replicate that? I don't know. I kind of had like this real, I had a very fresh look at it, you know. But now, after having, you know, lived there for almost 20 years, I don't think I couldn't look at it the same way. I wouldn't have the same perspective. I would say I had an innocent perspective and a playful, capricious, yeah, I had a very capricious outlook on life. I didn't have a lot of responsibilities. I didn't worry about money. I didn't think about anything or anybody but myself. So I just kind of lived in the moment. And that's what made it a lot of fun. Yeah. But you know, you grow up, you have responsibilities, you mature, so your outlook changes. And I always wonder, like, can you change your outlook when you're older? Like, can you go back to being capricious and not caring about other people and other things and not worrying about responsibilities? Like, can you change that outlook when you're 50 years old? If there was ever a chance of me going back to Japan, like what would have made living in Japan sustainable? So living in Japan was sustainable financially. Okay, it worked out really well because I didn't spend much money. You know, I would spend anywhere from 600 to probably at the time when I was spending the most money in Japan, it was when I lived in an expensive apartment that was like close to $800 a month. So at that time, and I was supporting my girlfriend at the time. I was, yeah, paying all the bills and everything and for her food. So I was maybe, yeah, spending $1,600 a month. So anywhere from 600, I would say on average, you know, throughout the whole 20 years, I was probably paying like between $1,000 and $2,000 a month for all my expenses. Yet I was making like 3, 4, 5 times that every month. So yeah, Japan was very sustainable financially, but on a happiness level and like a spiritual level, every year it was going down and down and down and down. I think one way I could have maintained like the happiness level is if I had done what I'm doing now, which is like if I had somehow managed to, and I probably should have done this now that I'm thinking about it, because I had the money at that time. I had a lot of money. But what I probably should have done is come back to America like I've done now, bought some cheap land, put a, you know, buy like a a single wide mobile home or something, some kind of shelter on that land, and come back every year for 3 to 6 months and made America my home and Japan the place I go to and work. Actually, that would have worked out really well. Then if I had done that, Japan would have kind of retained its novelty. And I mean, I had one job there where I made, and I did this job every weekend. I would make between $200 and $700 a weekend. That's just on the weekends. And then on the weekdays, I would teach English, and I'd make, my money doing that. So, yeah, that actually would have worked out. Now that I'm thinking about that and I'm articulating that probably would have kept me in Japan, because then I could do that, and then I could come back to America and just enjoy life in America for 3 to 6 months out of the year. Then I could go to Japan and work, and that would fund my living while I was in America. Well, it would have worked, but now that the yen has just really depreciated, it wouldn't really work out now. But anyways, I'm just kind of free-flowing thought with you guys. All right, guys. It's almost 4 o'clock, which is a good time to start doing Uber deliveries, because the orders and requests pick up around this time. Yeah, since I'm fasting, I'm going easy on myself, but I'll probably put in 5 hours and try to make as much money as I can. Anyways, I'm gonna get to work, and thanks for joining me kind of on this memory lane. And like I said, I love all the comments in the last video, so keep them coming. And again, I'll reply to the most liked comment for this video. Doesn't have to be about Japan. It can be about other things, other topics. Yeah, I look forward to the interaction with you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.